All right, you guys, let's fill this in. So an appropriate investigative question, and you could understand why in AP Stats they would want to ask this. What are you trying to figure out with your research, basically, is what is it saying? What's the question you're asking in your research? And the very most important thing is that it's about the population, not the sample. Okay, let's talk about the population. The population is going to have something like the word all in it, like all of the squishmallows in the world. I may or may not refer to squishmallows a lot of times for my populations and samples. So just so you know, just prepare yourself for many references to squishmallows. Okay. The question should be answerable using data that could be collected. So you actually have to be able to measure it, basically. So something like the weight of all the squishmallows or the height of all the squishmallows. You guys just picture in your mind all the squishmallows in the world. Like what a visual. Pretty great. Okay. It doesn't assume an answer. It's just an open-ended question. And it's about variables, not about one single thing. So it's not very interesting to research one squishmallow. You can totally measure it and weigh it. You know everything about it. But do you know everything about all the squishmallows in the world? No. This is probably going to change between squishmallows and candy. I go to candy a lot because we eat candy a few times in stats this year in data collection. Okay, so what is not an investigative question? This is not investigative. What is the average height of these five squishmallows? Why not? Because you can figure it out just by measuring that. You don't have to do any kind of, I mean, do little, I guess if you want to call measuring investigating, but that's not really what that's about. What? My favorite. Okay, now what would be investigative? I'm using the word typical there because I could be referring to the mean or the median. Do you guys know? Let's talk about chapter one real quick. When are you supposed to use the median? Yes.
I
Any outliers or any skew? Any skew or outliers, any one of those defaults you to the median. It has to be pretty symmetric with no outliers to use the mean. Okay, just, throwing in some chapter one review as we go here. Okay, so for one variable, I wanted to give you guys like a starting point because on some of the things it asks you to write the question yourself. On the MCQs, it's kind of easy to pick the right one. If you have to write your own though, I feel like it's best to have a sentence starter. So for one variable, you're going to say, what is the typical? And you go height, weight, length. I don't know, whatever the measurement is that you're working on. Growth, increase. And then if you have two variables, and I want you to think about that as in a two-way table. You guys remember doing the two-way tables? The first part. You're going to ask, is there an association? And you guys already answered some of those questions, hopefully. Because that was early on in the summer work. And if you haven't done that yet, gasp. Okay, so this is the end of my little spiel about investigative questions. Okay, so what I'd like you guys to do is to go back to AP Classroom and just look at the first three. We're doing the first three. If someone next to you doesn't have a Chromebook, can you scoot your Chromebook in the middle so you can share, please? Just look at the first three in your table groups. Try to come to a consensus on the answers of the first three, and then I'll tell you the correct answers. Why is it so tiny? Doesn't it know that I'm old? You guys can talk to each other, totally fine. Completely allowed.
It's not really showing the classroom.
That's because there's more questions down here. And I only know that because Zarina helped me figure that out. I look smart now, but I did not look smart 5 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. That's what yeah.
I'm hoping that as you look at these three questions, you kind of think to yourself, Mrs. Child, that you didn't really need to do those notes. Like, you can kind of tell what the answer is just from reading it, but I sort of felt like these are easier than when I ask you to write one. If I say, here's a bunch of data collection, what would be a question? The notes will be more helpful for that. So I would say the first thing I would do is eliminate any of the ones that aren't talking about the population. So you're looking for all, or for everybody, or for everything. You can eliminate anything that's not that. And then just sort of read the wording of the question. Okay, you guys, let's see what you have for number one. The correct answer is D. For me, I narrowed it down to, well, first of all, I got rid of A because it just said for the one randomly selected one. And then I got rid of B because the language in the problem said specifically greater than. And then I got rid of C because it was specifically talking about 1-year-old Scotch pine trees in the problem. So that was my thought process. Okay, number 2 is C. So I got rid of B because it says randomly selected home. And then I got rid of D because it just says majority. It has to be for everybody. So I eliminated B and D right away. And then I went back and looked at the question, and it says, the question is asking, determine whether the majority of the homes in the city have at least one working smoke alarm. So then I matched that up to the language in C. Okay, last one is also C. A and D did not talk about the population, so I got rid of A and D right away. B doesn't make any sense. That's not a measurable thing. So it's like bullet point number 2 in our notes. It has to be answerable using data that could be collected. I don't know that we could collect data on that. So I narrowed it to C. I'm hoping these are kind of easy, but again, when you have to write your own, hopefully these will help. So somewhere jot down that the first 3 are DCC, like Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Yes, I watch the documentary every summer. Okay. All right, so that's it for that. If you guys could look at your packet, please. If you did not have me, did you miss the packets? Hate the packets? Love the packets? Packets are, yeah, she has packets too. Although she was like making them as she went last year. So yeah. I know, she is. I know. Okay, so let's talk about this week. First, everyone should know that the summer work is due for full credit by 11:59 p.m. tonight. I will still accept assignments all the way till Friday morning at 8:30 for 60% of the original value for any late assignments. So if you have anything late, please still do it. Just Friday is the deadline. And that will be the deadline for all assignments in this class will be the day of the individual test, just like all my other classes. So if you've had me before, everything, you need all your stamps on that stamp sheet by the day of the individual test. I put chapter 1 and 2 on this sheet. So because the chapter 1 stuff was really short. The next thing I wanted to say about the summer work is that I printed a few of the course syllabus in case anybody was not able to print that and scan it. There are 2 places to initial and sign. So if anyone wants a printed copy of the syllabus, go ahead and grab that if you need it. And then if anyone needs help with Google Chat, please let me know. As soon as I'm done talking, I can show you where that is. Last thing about the summer work. I know I'm going to accept late summer work all the way till Friday, but there are a lot of diligent people who want to know if they did it correctly. Tomorrow during class, when you are working on the team test, I'm going to put a packet of the summer work answers on your table. So when you're done working on the team test or whenever convenient, you can take the answers and scan through your summer work to check your answers. And if you did not finish that before you leave, you can take pictures of it. I don't care, but I just don't want to put it out there right now because then people will just copy it down. So the thing. But I am prepared to show you all of the answers tomorrow. Okay. So we're going to work on the team test today. I'm going to help you get started on that, on the most difficult part of the team test. Notice that I'm kind of a jerk and that there's homework, but I'm also not kind of a jerk because it's 2 nights homework. So if you need to finish summer work tonight, then you could do this worksheet tomorrow night. Let's talk about where those are located. So flip in your packet. The team test is the first 3 pages. It's problems 1 through 4. And also, please take a look at the backboard. The team test solutions are all up on the backboard, so you can get up and look at those at any time during class to check your work. The worksheet says Unit 1A, Exploring One Variable Data Review. That is also 3 pages and 4 questions. Do you see it? Okay, and the answers for that are below the team test. So you can be working on any of that. If you want to take pictures of any of that, it's totally fine. Just do it at the end of class when we don't have phones out. So team test and Unit 1A review worksheet are going to be due on Thursday. Can you tell that from the boxes? So like, this is what we do in class. This is the homework. This is what we do in class. This is the homework. And if not specifically told to you, it's due the next time I see you, if that makes sense. On Thursday, we're going to do those FRQs I told you about on whiteboards. And once you guys get them approved on your whiteboards, then you're going to type them into AP Classroom and submit. And then the homework will be the rest of those MCQs. Is that anybody's ringtone? Somebody's being summoned. Yeah. I don't think it's me. I live on silent. Okay. On Friday, we have our tests. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. The test has 11 multiple choice and 2 FRQs. And I think it'll be fine. It's the only test that we will take on a regular day. All the rest of the tests will be on block day, so you'll have more time. But I don't think time's going to be an issue with this one. I tried really hard. Okay. Now I want to show you something about the team tests just to help you. It's like the hardest thing on the team test. I don't. Does anyone want to check their phone? It's really okay if you check your, I'm not going to be mad. Yeah. Yeah. Who has the octopus phone case? I love the octopus phone case. I'm so jealous of the octopus phone case. I really want it real bad. Yeah, so good. So freaking good. Okay. All right. So let me show you guys a cheat for making a scale on a histogram there. I have given you no graph paper. Because I don't know, for me, this would be the worst part of the whole test, would be figuring out the scale of this graph. So it says a community college statistics student collected the following data from 22 community college literature courses in the state. I listed them in order because I'm a nice lady. Number of novels assigned in community college literature courses. Okay, notice it goes from 3 to 15. So I'm going to start my histogram at 2 and go by twos. But what I do to cheat is I take a protractor and I put it on the centimeters part on the axis. By the way, there's baskets over here with protractors in them for everybody if you want to send somebody over to grab a basket. And I mark every half centimeter. Oh, 16 is plenty. And then I'll do the same on the y-axis with the half centimeter. Is it bad to say half centimeter? Should I say 5 millimeters? Half centimeters fine. Okay. Leave some space at the top because if you notice in D, I ask you to create a modified box plot above the histogram. So leave some space up there. And this is always called frequency. Everybody okay so far? So create a histogram for the data set, provide a label and scale for each axis, start at 2 and use a bin width of 2 for the x-axis. So I started at 2 and I went by 2. So that's what that means. Okay. Do you want to start the histogram together or do you think you got it? Got it? Okay. So just keep going on this page. I do want to say for B, you're allowed to either find the 5-number summary by looking at the numbers in the list, or you can use the one variable stats function on your calculator, whichever you like better.